Yo guys, it's your boy Dylan, and today we're going to be kind of doing a recap of this past week's wild card weekend from the NFL. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be predicting the divisional round and the rest of the playoffs. See if we have any modifications for the NFL playoffs. If you want to know both of our records, well, my dad's not doing this because he's a little bit ill right now. But anyways, his record is 3-3, and my record was 4-2. Because the games I did get wrong were Chargers and Texans, and that's a game that my dad got wrong as well. We predicted the Chargers, but the Texans actually moved on. And actually, before I go any further, we're actually going to start with them, because I'm actually going to go in order on how the schedule was. So I'm actually going to just start with the Chargers and Texans, get them out of the way first. So that game started off, I believe in halftime, it was 10-6 Texans. So the Chargers, they got like 2 field goals. And that was that for now until the Chargers would get another touchdown. But by that time, it was like 23-12. But literally on the next play, which was for the PAT, the Texans were able to block the field goal, get the ball actually on that play, and get a 2-point touchdown for a 25-12 lead. The final score would be 32-12, but congratulations for the Texans. They almost pulled a from last year's wild card. You know how they had 2 pick sixes like in back-to-back drives? They almost had it. They had 1 pick six, but they almost had another one, but one of their guys was tackled before. So they almost pulled a 2024 wild card, but hey, at least they're moving on for a second straight year to the divisional round. And this year they'll be playing against the Chiefs. And we'll be talking about that here in a second. But before I go any further, the games that I got wrong, one of the other games I got wrong was Vikings-Rams. And the Rams actually moved on, not the Vikings. But let's take it one at a time. All going on with the Steelers and the Ravens. You know, one of the techniques that the Steelers were going to use was, you know, play Russell Wilson for a couple of, you know, plays, and then do Justin Fields so on and so forth. So they're going to switch every so on and so forth. But it looks like that plan did not work out well, because the Ravens offense, they were just running through the defense. They just kept running through with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. And that was basically the final nail in the coffin to basically set a 5-game losing streak into the playoffs. And the Steelers have a 6-game losing streak in the playoffs right now. So the Steelers are going to need to get to work this offseason and even in the next season, see if they want to be a true playoff contender and actually be a serious playoff team. So Ravens, they're going to be moving on. Now we have the Broncos and the Bills, which was the final AFC wild card match. And this was the kind of like the blowout of the wild card round, because the final score of this game was 31-7 Bills. And the Bills, you know, the first half was close. It was a 10-7 after the end of the first half, but the second half, it was all in favor of Buffalo. And actually within the first 3 minutes of the game, the Broncos scored first, actually, but after that, things just went down south from there. You know, to be fair, the Broncos, they haven't been in the playoffs for 9 years. It could just be playoff pressure, for all I know. But the Broncos, at the very least, they were able to make it to the playoffs. We'll see if they can do it again next year. Like I said, good job with the Bills. So with that, the Bills will be hosting the Baltimore Ravens in actually technically a Week 4 rematch in the divisional playoff. And the winner of that will play either the Chiefs and Texans for a chance in the AFC Championship. Then we're going to go backwards here with the 7th and 2nd seed. This is the Eagles versus Packers. This is the game that my dad got wrong and I got right. I predicted the Eagles. My dad predicted the Packers to move on. And the final score of this game was 22-10 Eagles. And, you know, this was another, you know, it was in the Eagles' side for like the first half, but thankfully it wasn't like a big, it wasn't like Bills and Broncos, but at least the Packers started getting a couple points out there, but 10 was just definitely not enough for the Packers. So congrats to the Eagles. That means they're moving on. And then for the Sunday night game, Sunday night wild card, Commanders and Buccaneers. Honestly, low-key, to tell you the truth, this was the better match. This was the best match of the playoffs so far. And of wild card weekend. 23-20 in favor of the Commanders. And this is another game that my dad got wrong because, like I said, I picked Commanders, and yes, they moved on, but he picked Buccaneers. But you know how the Chiefs had that kick, that game-winning field goal where it doinked off of the post and then it went in for the game winner? That's what it was for the game winner for the Commanders. So they kicked it in off the post and it went in. So close call there. Almost went to overtime there, but in the end, the Commanders, congratulations to them. Their first playoff win since 2005. So it's been a long time coming for the Commanders, but at least they were able to get it done. Gotta give the GGs to the Buccaneers, but in the end, the Commanders, first playoff win since 2005. They'll be playing against the Lions in the divisional playoff. And, we'll see how Jaden Daniels does going forward into the divisional playoff. And then the last game, which is the game that I got wrong, but my dad got right, is Vikings and Rams. And I had the Vikings moving on, which, just like with the Broncos, I mean, was that Sam Darnold 14-3 regular season a bit of a fluke? Because they only put up 9 points, and the final score was 27-9 Rams. Even though the Rams had to play in Arizona, even moving to Arizona is and they could still win. I'm moving into Arizona for a game, and gotta give my congratulations to the Rams. One LA team might have not made it to the divisional round, but another LA team made it to the divisional round. And that is the Rams, obviously. But hey, like I said, that 14-3 by Sam Darnold might have been a fluke, as they didn't even put up 10 points on the board. They put up 9, but not 10. So that's a bit unfortunate. That's unfortunate for the Minnesota, but you know what they say: there's always next year. All right, now we're gonna move on to the divisional round picks, and then what I think is gonna happen for the rest of the playoffs. Chiefs and Texans. We're going to start with them first. I might just start on the AFC side and then go on the NFC side. Chiefs and Texans. And not to spoil anything on the AFC side, all teams that are playing are division winner teams. They won the division. And the Texans, they're the team, they're technically 11-7 combined with postseason and regular season, but technically they're 10-7. But the Chiefs, they should be well rested, to be fair. They should be well rested by now. Mahomes, Kelsey, Hollywood Brown, they should all be ready. As for the Texans, the only downfall is they had to play against Chargers in the wild card. So that is going to be the disadvantage on the Texans. And I have the Chiefs moving on to the AFC Championship game. Then we have Bills and Ravens. Honestly, I hope this time around, between Bills and Ravens, I hope it's a lot better than their Week 4 matchup. Because in their Week 4 matchup, it was a 35-10 final. And that was kind of lame. But I do think this is probably going to be one of the best divisional round matches probably of the divisional round. But I still think the Bills are going to get their revenge from Week 4. And they're going to advance to the AFC Championship game. Moving on to the Lions and Commanders, which this will technically be the second divisional round game and the second for Saturday because there's 2 Saturday games. Both 1-seed teams will play on Saturday, but the Lions will be next. Again, Commanders, got to give it to them. They're in the divisional round. As for the Lions, they're another team that they should be healthy and ready they had that week off. They had that bye week. So hopefully that bye week can help them. And I do have them helping them, as I have the Lions still moving on to the NFC Championship game. And then here's one of the other modifications right here. That's Eagles and Rams. I originally had Eagles Vikings, but the Vikings didn't move on. So what's next? Don't doubt the Rams. I could say, if they could take down one 14-3 team, they could take down another 14-3 team. It's very well possible. But sorry for the phone that's going off. But I have the Eagles advancing to the NFC Championship game. So this is the modification right here. Lions and Eagles for the NFC Championship game. So with that, for the AFC side, I have the Chiefs and Bills, rematch against each other. And I'm going to go with what I did last week, and I'm going to go with the Bills advancing to the Super Bowl. I still think maybe the 15-2 could have been a little bit too much for Kansas City. But you know what people say? You know what my dad says? They're going to save their best for the playoffs. But in my opinion, with Bills Chiefs in the playoffs, I think, Josh Allen's going to finally beat him at his own game. And I have the Bills moving on to the Super Bowl. Lions and Eagles, this should be an interesting NFC Championship game, honestly. This is, technically I did have 15-2, 14-3, but I don't know why I keep referring about the Vikings. But enough of the Viking talk. The Eagles, I think this would definitely be a really good NFC Championship game. But I have the Lions moving on from that. So I do think it's going to be a really close game, but I think the Eagles are going to fall just short of that Super Bowl appearance. So I still have Bills and Lions as the Super Bowl matchup, and I still think the Lions are going to capture the Super Bowl title. But with that, those are the divisional round and the rest of the playoff picks and the reactions from and what I thought about this past wild card weekend. And comment down below your thoughts about the wild card weekend, and what was your bet? What was your opinion about wild card weekend and your picks, maybe even for the divisional round? But until then, I'll see you guys next time. If you guys want to see more content like this, smash the subscribe button as we're trying to inch closer to 1,000 subscribers. Smash the like button. Comment if you want to see something else. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.